Imagine this. You're exhausted. You're hitting up hour 13 straight of the same monotonous stuff you've been working on for the past month. Your steady supply of monster and purse crackers are starting to dwindle, and you've quite literally forgotten what sunlight looks like. Not only do you have 3 to 5 people with their own VIP access to your inner ear, you have anywhere from 10 to 50 people yelling right at your face. Your only solace is to look down at your book and hope they just think you're busy. But the persistent ones never fall for it. You're a stage manager. At least that's what your official title says, but the name doesn't even begin to describe your job duties. A stage manager is the glue that holds a production together. A stage manager is the one sane voice in a theater full of crazy. A stage manager is a perfectly blended combination of erratic and perfect, all at the same time. From calling cues to painting the stage with lights, sounds, sets, and props, to continually saying, "Yes, you can go to the bathroom, but hurry." A stage manager does it all. This paper will outline the specific duties of a stage manager, tell us exactly what those duties mean, and explain why a stage manager is so essential. When people think of a stage manager, most often they think someone who does exactly what their name says, manage a stage. They think of someone who just calls things to happen at the right time, nothing really more. What people don't see, however, is that there is so much more involved to a stage manager's life. A stage manager's life begins the minute the show is cast in most professional settings. The minute the director hands out the stage manager a cast list, the stage manager's job is kicked into gear. From that moment on, lists, grids, sheets, paperwork, and everything else are made up until the day the show ends. The first piece of paperwork created is called a rehearsal calendar. This calendar is an outline of every time and every day the cast is required to be at rehearsal. This tells the director who to expect on what days so that he can plan his rehearsals around that. Next, the stage manager will create an official conflict calendar, which tells the director and the stage manager when the actors know that they won't be at rehearsal so that they can plan around them not being there. After that, there are props lists, cue lists, run sheets, but most importantly, there's the book. The book is a stage manager's best friend because it compiles everything listed above, as well as a prompt script to call a show. A prompt script is basically just a regular script, but it has all of the notes as to when you're supposed to call a cue, or when you're supposed to call a scene change, or tell the lights to dim a little bit, or even look up sometimes when you have a lot of things going on. Not only does the stage manager create every single piece of paper needed to run a show, the stage manager is also the liaison between the director and the actors and between the designer and the director. Anytime there is any sort of dispute between anyone, the stage manager is there to alleviate it. In the words of the practical artist, a backstage blogger, stage managers are called God. It's not an easy job, but perhaps it's one of the most rewarding, and we don't have to deal with that in the spotlight stuff. I wear black, therefore I'm invisible, and a force to be reckoned with. Calling a stage manager a force to be reckoned with is probably one of the truest statements anyone could utter. However, the role of a stage manager is especially important to the director in rehearsals. Here, the director and the stage manager work side by side, with the stage manager recording the director's decisions about blocking, notes for the actors, keeping track of logistical and scheduling details, and communicating what goes on in rehearsals to the rest of the team. This enables the director to concentrate his or her full attention on directing. Most importantly, however, the stage manager puts in time. So much time. Henry Rollins writes to actors saying, "They were here hours before building the stage, and they will be there hours after leaving, tearing it down. They should get your salary, and you should get theirs." Stage managers commit so much time and energy to a production, it often bleeds into their personal life. You'll be hard-pressed to find a stage manager who doesn't sit at home on their couch pretending to watch a movie when really they're thinking about how to make the Act 2 scene transition smoother. Almost every waking moment is spent thinking about the production and how the stage manager can make it absolutely perfect. Now, why does a stage manager do all they do? There are people that can do those jobs too. Designers could work their own board, directors could communicate to actors themselves, so why do stage managers exist? because it's essential to have glue to hold two pieces of paper together. If a stage manager didn't exist, it would fall on everyone who had their own jobs to do even more in a normal day. Not only would the director have to direct an entire show, they would also be responsible for worrying whether or not their actors were going to be there. Not only would the designers have to design an entire show, they would be responsible for making sure their design elements were executed on stage properly. Without a stage manager, there would be very little communication. Stress levels would be through the roof, and everything would fall into utter chaos. Soul Hunter says, techies are those people less appreciated, most abused, hardest working in the history of theater. Technicians are used, abused, and taken advantage of, but they are the most valuable people in theater. That's why communities bring in people whose job it is to communicate. Without communication, there is no room for growth, and the stage manager is there to make sure that people actually communicate. The stage manager is the middle ground. They're someone that everyone can go to. They're able to communicate freely between every single person involved in a production, without any prejudice, bias, or personal opinion. Mark Leslie says, quote, "An actor without techies is a naked person standing in the dark trying to emote. A techie without actors is a person with marketable skills." End quote. Not only does a stage manager do things necessary to working the stage, they do things necessary to life. You'll be hard-pressed to find somebody who is more worldly than a stage manager. They hone every single communication skill that you could possibly ever imagine. They're the people you want to try to get to figure out that fight between you and your wife. The beautiful part about being a stage manager is that you are learning essential qualities about working professionally, but you are also learning essential qualities about being a better human being. Peter Hall says, "Perhaps, therefore, ideal stage managers not only need to be calm and meticulous professionals who know their craft, but masochists who feel pride in rising above impossible ends." Quite literally, the stage manager is expected to be the perfect human. So, why is the stage manager important, you ask? Imagine a world without your mother or a mother figure. No one to tell you where your shoes are when you can't find them anywhere. No one to tell you where you need to be and exactly when you need to be there. And that's what a stage manager is. A stage manager is a mother to an entire company full of individuals. Without them, there would be a whole slew of people who would be completely lost. Especially in theater, every single person has their own specific duties. Everyone has their own jobs, and they all know exactly what they should be doing, while the stage manager knows what everyone's job is and how to do it. A stage manager is a universal source of information. Without stage managers, the theater would be left high and dry, without an official authoritarian figure above them. John Patrick says, "Stage managers are like the foundation of a house. They're strong, sturdy, and it takes a lot to break them. But if they crack, soon enough everyone else will too. Without a stage manager, slowly everything would just fall apart." Stage managers, in my opinion, are the most important part of the theater world. They are the glue that holds the production together. They are the shoulder to cry on. They are the rock that everybody needs. Stage managers truly are the gods of the theater world.